Okay, so it's time to see if the total diva, the queen of strong style, if she can actually hold a candle to the timeless one, Toni Storm. As always, we're going to go through this primarily from a kayfabe perspective. If you disagree, that's why there's the comment section. If you like. If you don't like, there's the down button for that. Either way. All right, so here we go. So we'll go first off some of their stats. So they're both built at 5'6". Nikki's built as 125. Toni is built at 143. So Nikki's born in 1983, with Toni Storm being born in 95. So I was born before Nikki, and I graduated high school when Toni was 2 years old. So let's get into this. Strength. Definitely give the edge here to Nikki. That was pretty much her moveset. She was very much the power wrestler. She was the power twin. You know, a lot of power, a lot of big, a lot of hard hitting moves. Speed, gonna get it to Toni. I mean, we never really saw Nikki have a high pace in ring offense. Well, given the time that she wrestled, that really wasn't something that was done very often. Similar with the next two as well. Nikki during her heyday didn't have long matches. She didn't have matches that were hardcore matches. I mean, she really wasn't in, once she went through her first retirement, then that's when they started having Royal Rumbles. Now they're having Elimination Chambers, Hell in a Cells. That wasn't an option for Nikki during her heyday, where Toni has been in a lot more knockdown, drag-out brawls. So she definitely does have, she has more gas in the tank. She also has the ability to sustain a lot more damage, and that's just the way the industry has progressed since the time of Nikki Bella. Striking. I went back and forth. That's like you have a lot of good heavy shots from Toni. She has a fantastic hip attack, nice drop kick. But then I was like, the Bella Hammer was a fantastic finisher. Nikki had that fantastic just forearm elbow smash that was it was a great finisher. Really worked well, and it worked well for more of her, it was great for heel offense. It also worked well as a way to stop someone's momentum. Grappling. I went back and forth with this. So I say grappling, I mean this is your suplexes, your slams. Nikki did have the rack attack, which she can't do now because of her neck injuries. Transitioned to a TKO, and I'm like, those are both, decent moves. But comparing that to like a Storm Zero or some of the really fantastic DDTs that Toni Storm has been able to throw out throughout her career, she definitely does. I would give Toni an edge when it comes to grappling. I'll give submission work to Nikki. She did end up having a variation of the STF, which she did from her time with the Invisible One. And it's like, if you've won matches and you've been able to get a pretty successful usage of a move, and Toni hasn't had to use that much in a submissions game, definitely much more from the grappling perspective with her much more elaborate finish she moves that way. High flying. Toni does dives. It's 2024. Every wrestler does a dive. She has a nice missile drop kick, where Nikki during her time, that just wasn't one of the things that she was allowed to do. Over with the crowd. I think Dr. Britt Baker said it best. There's a whole generation of women who became wrestling fans through Nikki Bella, through Total Divas, through Total Bellas. And they saw her as someone who was physically attractive, athletic, and was able to make a very good living off of doing professional wrestling. So very, very much, there are people who are like, it was Trish, it was Lita. There's a whole generation of women who are going to say, it was Nikki, it was Brie, it was AJ. That those are the ones that really helped solidify them going into the ring. Ring psychology. I always preferred Nikki's heel work. I always thought her heel work was so much better than her work as a face. Primarily because, when you're a physically larger individual, it's harder to garner sympathy. And when you have more of a powerhouse style wrestling, it's hard to work underneath. But if I'm comparing that with what we have right now with Timeless Toni Storm, the character work, the ring psychology is incredible with what Toni Storm is doing with this timeless character. It is an absolutely amazing character that she has fully developed, fully embraced, and the crowd has gotten behind. And finally, mic work. Again, had this been Toni Storm in NXT UK, probably be a different story. Had this been Toni Storm in her horrendous main roster work, this could be a different story. But with the current iteration of Timeless Toni Storm, it's absolutely incredible. You know, when you have someone who fully buys into what it is that they're doing and the crowd is fully behind it, and throwing out phrases that the crowd can easily get behind, whether it's, look out for the shoe, having an entourage, and there's just so much fantastic character work that Toni Storm is doing right now in AEW. And we saw Trish Stratus was able to make a return and be fairly successful in the ring. I think if Nikki were to try to get into the ring now and try to compete at an AEW style level, I don't think it would turn out very well for her. I mean, there's definitely some big spots here and there she can do. I just think that from the time when she was in her heyday, the industry has progressed so much farther forward. And I don't know if Nikki could, or should try to step back into the ring and try to recapture her old glory.